Well, there are a number of things. I will tell you, first and foremost, one of my highest priorities is to do what we can to support and strengthen the middle class. When I look at the aspirations, the goals, the ambitions of the American people, I think that people are ready for a new way forward.
Yesterday, Vice President Kamala Harris finally giving that long-promised formal sit-down interview. Taped, though, not live, but we did see 27 minutes from Harris and her running mate. Critics say it left them with more questions than answers.
Everyone was watching. We're looking, okay, what is this big interview going to be? Finally, Kamala Harris, after 39 days, Queen Kamala descends from her tower to come and talk to the little people. Yeah. And then what we saw made very clear what they've been trying to hide. She came across as very weak, insecure, clearly out of depth on any kind of issues, and not even knowing where she stands on different issues or frankly what her plans are. And she came across as someone who's afraid.
Welcome back to the channel. Welcome. Like, comment, subscribe, especially if you're new. So we got to react to this Kamala Harris, Tim Walz CNN interview. It's a very softball interview, I like to say, because it wasn't that serious if it was, for instance, Donald Trump, Dana Bash interview. Now we're talking real serious, real serious interview. Dana would be absolute beast mode on him. Anyway, let's take a look.
Madam Vice President, Governor Walz, thank you so much for sitting down with me and bringing the bus. The bus tour is well underway here in Georgia. You have less time to make your case to voters than any candidate in modern American history. The voters are really eager to hear what your plans are. If you are elected, what would you do on day one in the White House?
Well, there are a number of things. I will tell you, first and foremost, one of my highest priorities is to do what we can to support and strengthen the middle class. When I look at the aspirations, the goals, the ambitions of the American people, I think that people are ready for a new way forward, in a way that generations of Americans have been fueled by hope and by optimism. I think, sadly, in the last decade, we have had in the former president someone who has really been pushing an agenda and an environment that is about diminishing the character and the strength of who we are as Americans, really dividing our nation. And I think people are ready to turn the page on that.
So what would you do day one?
She's the VP at the moment, so I don't know what she means about turning the page, honestly. What do you mean? Come on. Turning the page on what? You literally are going to continue your book as the president if you win this election here in November. So I don't know what she's trying to make this all about Trump when it's her interview and it's about her. And again, she's trying to make it about Trump because Trump is obviously running against her. So I get it, but in the same sense, you're the one that's allowing all these illegals to come across the border. Y'all overpassed these bills about $150,000 towards a house for these illegals over here. I mean, look at this. California lawmakers ripped after approving $150K down payment handout to illegal immigrant home buyers. This is crazy, from the New York Post. I mean, this is what they're pushing in California. Democrat-controlled California legislature has passed a polarizing bill that would make the Golden State the first in the nation to offer down payment assistance to illegal immigrant home buyers. Assembly Bill 1840, which was approved Wednesday, folks. You hear that? Look at that. Approved Wednesday. That's big. Would grant undocumented, look at undocumented. Oh, we can't call them illegal immigrants access to the state's taxpayer-funded home loan program, which provides up to $150,000 in down payment assistance for eligible first-time home buyers. $150,000 down, folks. First-time home buyers get 3.5% going towards that, and we have to put that down. These people get straight up $150K if they're qualified, which I think to qualify, you have to be an undocumented, right? That's all you need to be to qualify. But not us Americans, we can't qualify for that. They ain't going to give us, we're lucky to get those freaking stimulus checks. The legislation easily cleared the state Senate on Tuesday, 25-14, and was subsequently approved by the Assembly, 45-15. Democrats enjoy supermajorities in both chambers. It now has the governor, Gavin Newsom's desk for final approval. Yeah, Gov's gonna for sure approve this. Guarantee he's going to. Guarantee there's no chance he's not going to do it unless he's still trying to run for presidency secretly. Then I ain't going to approve this. No.
Day one, it's going to be about, one, implementing my plan for what I call an opportunity economy. I've already laid out a number of proposals in that regard, which include what we're going to do to bring down the cost of everyday goods, what we're going to do to invest in America's small businesses, what we're going to do to invest in families, for example, extending the child tax credit to $6,000 for families for the first year of their child's life, to help them buy a car seat, to help them buy baby clothes, a crib. There's the work that we're going to do that is about investing in the American family around affordable housing, a big issue in our country right now.
Affordable housing for the illegals.
Well, I'm excited about this agenda, too. As I said, the idea of inspiring America to what can be. And I think many of these things that the vice president's proposing are things that we share in values. And the child tax credit is one we know that reduces childhood poverty by 1/3. We did it in Minnesota. To have a federal partner in this, unbelievable, I think, in the impact that we can make.
You talked about, you call it the opportunity economy. You are well aware that right now many Americans are struggling. There's a crisis of affordability. One of your campaign themes is we're not going back. But I wonder what you say to voters who do want to go back when it comes to the economy specifically, because their groceries were less expensive, housing was more affordable when Donald Trump was president.
Well, let's start with the fact that when Joe Biden and I came in office, during the height of a pandemic, we saw over 10 million jobs were lost. People, I mean, literally, we were all tracking the numbers. Hundreds of people a day were dying because of COVID. The economy had crashed. In large part, all
Not Trump's fault. 100% not Trump's fault. COVID's fault. Democrats' fault for telling everyone to stay inside, don't go to work. That's what they told us, folks. That's what 6 feet. No, wear your mask. Wear it inside your house. Wear it in your car when you're by yourself. You can't go to the beach. We're going to arrest you.
All of that because of mismanagement by Donald Trump of that crisis. When we came in, our highest priority was to do what we could to rescue America. And today, we know that we have inflation at under 3%. A lot of our policies have led to the reality that America recovered faster than any wealthy nation around the world. But you are right. Prices, in particular for groceries, are still too high. The American people know it, I know it, which is why my agenda includes what we need to do to bring down the price of groceries. For example, dealing with an issue like price gouging, what we need to do to extend the child tax credit to help young.
Price gouging, folks. This is her deal right here. It kind of sounds communism. Price gouging. How are you going to solve this with price gouging? Are you going to take control of the businesses? Because that's exactly how communism works. Let's go with this right here. Warren on Harris price gouging plan. Consumers need to know they've got somebody on their side. Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas. Let's see what she has to say on the Squawk Box.
Jason Furman, I don't know if you saw some of his comments. He said it's not good policy and it could actually do more harm than good. And I can paint you a picture of how that would work and how it's worked in the past, where we've tried to artificially hold prices down. Competition doesn't come in. People don't, like if beef is too high, people don't move the chicken. The competitors don't come in to undercut where the beef prices are. Nothing works when you try to artificially control prices. It's just a supply and demand issue. It's a flawed idea.
So did you have a question here?
Yes. Why would you propose a flawed idea when the real problem,
so let me
if you
ask
really
the
want to help
question.
the middle class, if you really sincerely want to help people having trouble at the grocery store, it's not price gouging that's the issue. And if you look at it seriously and really want to help them, then let's do something about it together. Fine.
It's a supply chain that's the issue, folks. When you look at the products you're buying, you're going to notice a couple things. Made in fill in the blank, right? China, Taiwan, Mexico, etc. Very few items are made in America. Mainly, pharmaceutical stuff. Small stuff like toys, games, whatever, clothing, vehicles made across the sea because they're cheaper prices. No hardcore labor laws like we have here in America. Matter of fact, they have freaking nets around the buildings over there in China because people literally jump to the death in those buildings. That's how bad it is over there because they're not getting paid what they should be getting paid. Because if these manufacturers were here in America, you better believe they're getting health insurance, they're getting a 401k, maybe. They're going to get decent wages. But that's why they take it overseas, because they get cheaper prices.
I understand if you want to do a lecture about this, but let's just start with, where have you been for the last 30 years as 36 states have price gouging laws, and they have used them effectively. States like Texas and Florida, they've used price gouging laws. Price gouging laws are not price control. Price gouging laws are to say, sometimes markets go off the rails. And when they do, we need some ways to get them back on the rails. We need some curbs on that behavior. So, for example, we watched in the pandemic how prices went up for a whole lot of reasons. They went up partly because we had supply chain kinks. We had problems because of the war in Ukraine that cut supplies of certain commodities. And
which caused inflation, folks. When we get these wars and we're sending trillions of dollars to other countries, that triggers inflation. It goes up. Prices go up. Supply chain gets hit because a war is happening. Oh, we need to send these supplies here now. What about over here? Well, you guys are going to be lacking. Oh, and it's going to cost more, by the way.
one of the things that happened as a result of that is there were corporations that said, whoa, now that we have inflation, now that prices are up overall, this is a great opportunity for us to raise prices, not just in passing along costs, but to go way, way, way above that. And how do we know that it was way, way above just passing along costs? Look at what happened to their profit margins. If they'd just been passing along costs, profit margins would have stayed about the same. But for some industries, some companies, profit margins shot up. And do you know where they shot up most often? It was in companies or in industries where there was a lot of concentration, a lot of market power, places where the market is not functioning competitively. So you end up with someone, you remember we all talked about egg prices. You end up with something like this giant egg producer, Cal-Maine. And Cal-Maine raises the price of eggs. Their profit margins increase by 718%. That's not just passing along costs.
Senator,
and that is a time in
that's
any
sophistry. Your example on Kraft. Your example on Kraft is even worse.
You finished first. In any of the states around the country that already have price gouging laws in place.
Can I tell you why those are fallacious and misleading at best? And the Kraft, Kraft analogy is even. Why can't I tell you? Please let me tell you. Kraft, you say, was 440% profit increase. The example you used, the prior quarter from the year before, they had a charge of $1.3 billion, an accounting change which wiped out profits. Then they earned what they normally. Let me finish now. They earned.
You didn't let me finish. Look at the data. Come on. We have economic studies.
You have limited time, Elizabeth Warren, you have limited time. This is how I use it to talk over this gentleman here trying to explain that, hey, this company has to adjust their books. They took a huge loss here. All right. It may show 700% profit, but they probably didn't make that. We didn't see no eggs at freaking $1,000 a carton, 700% profit. What is she talking about? They wouldn't allow that. No store would have it because no one would buy these eggs. It don't matter if it was $100 a carton. No one would freaking buy them. The company would go bankrupt. Elizabeth Warren, oh, well, they had a 700% profit margin here. This is price gouging at its best. No, Elizabeth Warren, you're cuckoo, man. Let's go back to this Walz interview.
families be able to take care of their children in their most formative years. What we need to do to bring down the cost of housing. My proposal includes what would be a tax credit of $25,000 for first-time home buyers, so they can just have enough to put a down payment on a home, which is part of the American dream and their aspiration, but do it in a way that allows.
You hear that? The American dream. They're making it the legal American dream, where they're trying to push illegals to be citizens now. Nancy Pelosi said it. They're trying to push these people to be naturalized citizens very quickly. I'm talking fast. They're trying to streamline this, just like how they did the COVID vaccines that Trump did. They want them to be citizens so bad that they're really fighting for this. They're fighting harder for these illegals than they do us Americans, us veterans on the streets. These veterans can't even freaking get disability. They got to fight tooth and nail just to get disability, that get them help mentally, financially. But we got these illegals being told, come across the border, say asylum, bring a child with you that may or may not be yours. And by the way, in California, you can probably get a home if you qualify. Zero down, $150K to you to help you get this home. $150K. I wish I had that when I turned 18 and I got married. And I was like, hey, I want to go, let's go buy a house. Oh, we need 3.5% down for a first-time home buyer. Shoot, that's a lot of money for $200,000. But these people who aren't even Americans, $150K. Bam. Just like that. All right, let's cut off this interview here because it's getting a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Yesterday, Vice President Kamala Harris finally giving that long-promised formal sit-down interview. Taped, though, not live, but we did see 27 minutes from Harris and her running mate. Critics say it left them with more questions than answers. This is the Faulkner Focus. Hello, everyone, and happy Friday to you. I'm Julie Banderas in for Harris today. So it was the very first time that the vice president was pressed on all of those liberal policy backtracks we've seen since she announced her candidacy. Policies like border security, Medicare for all, gun buybacks. Also at issue where she stands now on fracking versus her previous position.
Do you still want to ban fracking?
No, and I made that clear on the debate stage in 2020, that I would not ban fracking. As vice president, I did not ban fracking. As president, I will not ban fracking. I made very clear where I stand. We are in 2024, and I've not changed that position, nor will I going forward. I kept my word, and I will keep my word.
So here's what the VP said during her 2019 presidential run. And
Listen to this. I will not ban fracking. Just keep listening. Listen, folks.
also what she said during the 2020 debate she referred to. Listen closely to how she words her answer. Watch.
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. So, yes, Joe Biden will not end fracking. He has been very clear about that. Sure. So, first of all, I will repeat, and the American people know, that Joe Biden will not ban fracking. That is a fact. That is a fact.
Fact.
Joe Biden would not ban fracking. That's despite defending her policy flip-flops. She made this claim.
Well, let's be clear. My values have not changed. I think the most important and most significant aspect of my policy perspective and decisions is my values have not changed. My values have not changed. So that is the reality of it.
Former President Trump not impressed. He posted that Harris, quote, rambled incoherently and, quote, America will become a wasteland if she's elected. His running mate earlier this morning.
If you have the same values, why have you changed your mind on literally every topic that you previously held an opinion on? She's just trying to pretend that she's not far left now because, of course, she wants to win the American people's votes. It's really absurd for Kamala Harris to sit there and say, well, I don't actually believe in any of the thing that I told you I believed 3 years ago. She has governed as a person who believes those things, and unfortunately, the American people are far off because of it.
Fox News contributor Joe Concha says the long-awaited formal interview can be summed up in just two words: dishonest and train wreckalicious, which he admits may not be an actual word, but he calls it appropriate. Longtime Obama advisor David Axelrod's take, meh.
I think on the whole, this was a good night. It wasn't a huge, I don't think she moved the ball that much forward, but she certainly didn't fall back.
Senior White House correspondent Jackie Heinrich picked
She didn't move the ball much forward, but she didn't certainly fall back. What? I don't even know how to take that. What is, if you're a swing voter, how do you take this interview? Seriously, if you're on the fence, you don't know what she's about. Like, this interview didn't help you at all to decide whether or not if you're going to vote for her or if you're not going to vote for her. Because I know if I was a Democrat / swing voter or whatever, this interview didn't move the needle nowhere near voting for her. Let's go to Tulsi Gabbard because she reacted to Kamala Harris's speech and it was blistering. Take a look.
Well, first of all, I think let's just take a step back and look at the lead up to this massively hyped up interview. They've been hyping this up now for over a month. She's going to do a big interview before the end of the month. And so everyone was watching. We're looking, okay, what is this big interview going to be? Finally, Kamala Harris, after 39 days, Queen Kamala descends from her tower to come and talk to the little people. Yeah. And then what we saw made very clear what they've been trying to hide. She came across as very weak, insecure, clearly out of depth on any kind of issues, and not even knowing where she stands on different issues or frankly what her plans are. And she came across as someone who's afraid. And what she's afraid of is that we, the people, will see what she's trying to hide, and that there will be this moment that the American people will be like that child that has the courage to say, hey, guys, the emperor's got no clothes on. And that's her. That's her right now. And that's what came across and I think has been made very clear. It'll be interesting to see now whether they stick with this strategy of trying to hide her or whether the American people are going to continue to see who Kamala Harris really is.
Well, that's right. What's the alternate strategy now? Because I really think this is a big moment in the campaign. So do the betting markets, by the way, which totally flipped in favor of Donald Trump after this aired. How do you play it? Do you hide her more and play into the caricature that she's not capable? Do you put her out there? But if you put her out there, then she has to actually answer questions, and the big debate's coming up. So where do they go next?
Yeah, who knows what they're going to do? I'm sure they're telling themselves and telling her that she did a good job. But I can tell you what the American people need to hear and they need to see from both candidates running for president is who are you? What do you stand for? What is your record? And what is your plan to solve what is so broken in this country? I've been traveling with President Trump across different states just over this past week alone, and I've seen him in real time talking with reporters, answering tough questions that have not been pre-vetted, answering questions from voters in the country, speaking about his record, speaking about issues. Voters deserve that from every candidate running for president, and they are not getting it from Kamala Harris. And I think we're seeing why, because she doesn't have anything to say.
Give it up for Tulsi Gabbard, folks, because Tulsi is Kamala's worst nightmare. I'm sure she has dreams about Tulsi all the time. Oh no, the debate. She destroyed me. I had no comebacks. Exactly what happened, if you guys remember that, which, by the way, Kamala was polling like 1%. No one liked her as a candidate, which is why she didn't even get close to being the front runner to win, to even beat Joe. Now, suddenly, she is picked to be that guy to take Joe's position. Basically, what happened? Hey, we're gonna hand the baton to Kamala. Come on down. No one likes Kamala. You know, it's gonna be kind of hard to get her to win this thing, especially when you got Tulsi, you got RFK, you got Elon Musk backing Donald Trump, the Justice League / Avengers assembling to beat the Democrats. Maybe. I don't know, but we'll see how this goes come November, because if these interviews keep turning out how they've been turning out, she just might kill it herself. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Peace.